is the best soup that I have ever had in my life. Good morning. Welcome to today's What I Eat in a Day. The bedhead is strong. We started off in song as our pre-breakfast appetizer. I'm just kidding. But we had our daily bread. It was the first thing of today, and now we're gonna make some cottage cheese pancakes. So let's do it. These are ridiculously good. And craving like a warm, sweet breakfast, but I feel so much better when I eat enough protein, especially start the day with protein. These are so good. These are like the perfect winter breakfast. They're so delicious. We're having some yummy meals today. So I'm having this soup. This is my favorite soup of all time. It is the best soup ever. My mom told me that is the best soup that I have ever had in my life. She literally said that. It's so good. It is so simple. So I'm gonna make more of it today so that we can have some, but I'm also gonna take it to my sister because she is postpartum, and this is gonna be so nourishing. It's so full of protein. It's a great way to get your veggies in, and it's just awesome because you have that balance of the bone broth and the chicken in there, so you're just getting a wide range of amino acids. It's super filling, it's so nourishing, it's very warming and comforting. And don't skip the Parmigiano Reggiano on the top because it just adds the perfect amount. It makes the soup taste like a restaurant, you know? So don't skip out on that. Plus you're getting really good calcium, vitamin K, lots of fat soluble vitamins, and it's just so delicious. So I like to top it and end it off with that. And you can feel free to do whatever you want with the noodles. So I just found these little tiny stars from Jovial at Whole Foods, and they are just the cutest thing. And honestly, of all the noodles that I've ever tried, I love these ones the most because they're really small and they almost just make it the perfect bite. Trust me, I love a good like noodle and like a bite of a noodle, but there's something about the stars in the soup that it just blends perfectly and you get like a perfect bite of the noodle, and it's not overpowering, but it's so good. It's so yummy. And I really like the little tiny stars. So if you can find those, that's really fun. And it's truly one of my favorite meals of all time. You will love it. If you have not made this soup, I know I've shared it before, but if you haven't made this soup, this is your sign to make the soup. Cheers to the best soup ever. The best part of all, it only takes a few minutes to prep, and then you just leave it on the stove and it cooks, and that's it. Here, Mies, you want a carrot? It's just so easy. Oh, I should have used my chopper. I forgot. So when it comes to seasoning your soup, you want to have a generous heart and a heavy hand because that is what is going to make it flavorful. So I'm going to use a lot of garlic. You really you want to almost like over season. And I know it can kind of be like, how many spices do I use? Do I need to use like a teaspoon? You know, what's the measurements? But really, I just eyeball it, and I like to cover the whole top of the veggies with do a nice generous sprinkle over the whole thing. That's kind of how I like to measure. And then again, just like a nice heavy hand. I'm almost out of this onion salt, so I'm gonna use garlic salt instead. The Trader Joe's onion salt is really a good seasoning though. If I can get this one off, this is garlic salt though, so we'll have to swap this out. And that's the thing, there's no right or wrong way to do it. But honestly, I find too, you really gotta be generous with the salt. That's really important. A little bit of oregano, put that in there. The turmeric is great because it gives it that beautiful full like color obviously, and the flavor as well, but the color is just what I love so much. So good amount of turmeric, and then onion, just straight up onion. Again, nice and heavy-handed. There we go. And then ginger gives it a little bit of a kick. So not so much but it just adds that depth of flavor, really. It's so good. And then, of course, oh, I forgot the thyme. But I'm gonna need some thyme, and then I have my rosemary right here. Of course, the classics. This is truly the best soup ever. It's so good. Okay, there's our rosemary. I'm gonna grab the thyme and then do a nice, really big, huge pinch of salt. Let's see here. Salt, oh, and we need our paprika, which this bag is a generous amount of paprika as well. Very, very big pinches of salt. I'm talking like a few tablespoons, because you have to, maybe like 2.5, 3. And I always find that I even have to salt it at the end, so pretty much always, sometimes. So that is that, and then we're gonna do a nice big amount of pepper. Okay, my favorite flour for thickening is arrowroot flour. This is so good. I just do like a little sprinkle of that, and it makes the soup just a little bit like thick. It makes it not so just watery, you know? So I'm just gonna sprinkle a little bit of that in there, and then we're gonna add our thyme. It looks so good, beautiful. This smells amazing. Can't lie to you, I'm kind of all about the pre-chopped butternut squash life right now. It's so easy. Now you're gonna add in your bone broth. So of course you can make your bone broth at home, but this Rolly Roddy bone broth, butcher's bone broth, this is the best bone broth that I have ever found store-bought wise. It is so good. It's so thick. I gotta open this carefully here. It's so incredibly thick. And that is how you know it's nice and rich in those amino acids like glycine, which is so nourishing for your gut. Really, really important for your liver health as well. Like, it's amazing. It's so good. Amino acids are really important, like making sure that you have those specific ones. So I'm gonna add in this whole entire thing. This is 3 cups of bone broth. And then I'm going to add in 4 cups of water. And our water. Almost forgot, but this is one of the most important ingredients. This is the blue agave sriracha. It's so good from Yellowbird. So I just like to add like a nice squirt like that. It gives it so much flavor and just a depth to it. After reading salt, fat, acid, heat, this is the heat component of the dish, and it just makes it so incredibly flavorful. And I really, really like the ingredients on this. Look at that. Lots of broths, bone broth, more bone broth, and just really amazing, really healthy, super warm and nourishing foods that are high in protein and just so incredibly delicious. Not the actual cutest coffee that you've ever seen in your life. I feel like I'm gonna spill it. Hold on. It's literally a mushroom coffee. How cute is that? I saw today that they posted a little like another latte art, and it was like the sun and stars. It was so adorable. And I went in there and I said, did you make the sun star latte art? And she's like, yeah, I did. I was like, your latte art makes my day. It's the best thing ever. And then she handed me this, and she handed me this little mushroom. I was like, okay, this is what makes life sweet to me. Okay, it's so good, but you know what I'm gonna put in it? I'm gonna sneak in a little bit of minerals. Okay, let me tell you something that I just learned the other day that literally so exciting for me to learn while I dig through my purse to find what I need to find. Okay, here we go, I found it. But let me tell you what I learned the other day, okay? And this is so exciting to me because, well, let me just tell you. You need magnesium. It's not just like, oh, a part of, no, it's like necessary. It is 100% necessary for pancreatic enzyme function. Now you might be like, okay, well, that's a very boring thing to get very excited about, but let me tell you why this is so exciting, okay? After I miscarried last year, I really started having it wasn't digestive issues, but like, let me just put it this way. And this is why I share this with you is let me just put it this way. So I think everyone should monitor how they're eliminating, to put it nicely. So I think that every person should always be aware of how they are eliminating, you know, just pay attention, make sure that you're digesting your food well, absorbing it well, everything like that. and how you're eliminating will tell you that. So we're just getting really into the nitty gritty, but this is health stuff. It's the body. It's the way that God made the body. I don't have any I'm just trying to say it nicely. You know what I mean? But the point is if you are having issues with digestion, specifically, you're not really breaking down your food very well. And that's a huge issue because that will lead to nutrient deficiencies and then a whole bunch of other stuff. I've always loved my magnesium. Magnesium is a life-changing mineral, not only because it helped me get pain-free periods, which it literally did, and so many of you have had your lives changed from magnesium as well with pain-free periods, which is crazy, but learning that it's necessary for pancreatic enzyme function and just how unbelievably important that is for every single thing in your body, being able to digest your food well and properly is so important for literally everything. To be able to break down your food, which the pancreas secretes the enzymes to be able to break down our food. And if the pancreas doesn't have magnesium, it can't make the enzymes. It can't make the enzymes to break down our food. So if you are having issues, say hair issues, say sleep issues, because your digestion really affects everything. When I learned this, I was like, okay, this is monumental. This is truly monumental. Like, magnesium does over 300 different reactions in the body, over 300 different things in the body. But when I learned that it actually allows the enzymes that our pancreas makes to be able to, we need them for pancreatic enzyme function. So those enzymes don't work without magnesium. That is why I am always talking about minerals, because they will change your life. And if you're not getting enough magnesium, and if you are deficient in magnesium, and magnesium is the first mineral to go under stress. So any kind of stress, the whole point of me saying this is magnesium is a life-changing mineral, and we actually need magnesium to retain potassium, which is super important if you're having hormonal issues. I just had to tell you how excited I was about learning about that, and how if you're struggling with your digestion and you're looking at your elimination and you're wondering, why am I not breaking down my food well? Magnesium. And as I told you, my sister, who I'm going to give this soup to right now, she just had her baby, and I told her, I've been telling her about Element. She knows I love Element, but I really told her at the end of her pregnancy, I said, Grace, she was having issues with her blood pressure, and I said, minerals. And she started having an Element every single day, and it completely changed the end of her pregnancy, and she was able to have a perfectly healthy discharge from the hospital, and it was amazing. Very different from last time. She had to be readmitted, and it was very scary, and it was so wonderful to see that her body responded so amazing. She goes, Element was the thing that just helped me the most. So it is amazing. That's why I talk about it so much, because it's the best. And so we're gonna do half a pack of our Element. This is gonna be so good. Perfect. I cannot tell you how good the chocolate Element is in coffee, and you can go to drinkelement.com/Cambria, and with any order, you're gonna get the free sample pack, and that way you can try out all the different flavors. All the flavors are so good, but link will be in the description box. And I just love Element so much because they make getting your electrolytes so easy, and they make getting your sodium and potassium and magnesium so incredibly easy. I mean, and so delicious too. Like this is gonna make my mocha that's already delicious, but it's gonna make it taste even more delicious. And I should have got a stir stick, but I should have got a stir stick. And they're the only electrolyte company that I truly love that just has such a good ratio of all the different minerals, and it's just so hydrating. I mean, it's amazing. Like, they're awesome. They don't add any artificial colors, sweeteners, dyes, just what you need, which is those good minerals and nothing that you don't want to have. They are the best, and I have Element every single day, and minerals have changed my life. I was asking you too, like, what do you want to see? Like, what videos do you want? And you were like, you're so sweet. You're like, I just want to hang out and vlog and like talk about your life. And I think the reason too that I do get so fixated on minerals and nutrition is because for so many years, I struggled for so And even this past year, even after I miscarried, for a long time, I kind of just gave up after going to so many doctors, and I realized the body has the innate ability to heal, but what I was missing is those things like minerals to give my body what it needs to do what it needs to do, to be able to heal, to be able to make pancreatic enzymes, to be able to have energy and all these different things. It needs those minerals. And so the reason that I talk about all this, and I don't want to get emotional, I feel like I'm like so emotional lately, but I know what it's like to struggle for so long with your health. And I just want to be somebody that is, I really believe that that is what God has called me to do. And actually, I was listening to one of the blood chemistry lectures the other day, and the teacher, I love my teacher, and he was talking about how your purpose and how your view and how you view your life and the world and everything, it changes your physiology. It changes your hormones. And he literally pulled up evidence from studies that they did. And it was mind-blowing to see how powerful the mind really is. And so many different studies about hormones and just our responses to things, whether it was like a certain food that it was the same exact food, but they told people that this one was really high calorie and really high fat and really high carbohydrate. And this one was really low fat and really low carbohydrate. But they were the exact same thing. They just told them that they were different. And the two groups responded completely differently. The one group that thought it was really high fat, high sugar, their satiety was so much more improved. Their response to the food, as far as insulin, everything, it was so improved just by thinking that it's more satiating. It's going to be a more satiating food. And their thoughts on that changed their physiology. And the same thing, the people who thought it was this really low calorie, really, low fat, low carbohydrate shake, they actually did not get as satiated from that shake. And it's just amazing. And same thing with women's hormones. They actually did this entire study on women and these women who were not ovulating at all. Like nothing changed at all, except these women went in, I think it was like cognitive behavioral therapy. It was some kind of therapy. And no joke, the study showed that the women who went into therapy, their hormones, even though they were a little all over the place, but we're talking like no hormones at all. They actually had their spike in estrogen and progesterone. It was a little all over the place, but nevertheless, the fact that it had such an impact to change their hormones, like what changed? It wasn't supplements. It wasn't food. It wasn't even food or minerals. It was their mind. And so how amazing though, when we do eat something that's, rich in minerals or rich in whatever it is, even if we don't. And that's what I always try to talk about, is that your life, your mind, your heart is nourishment to you. The way that you view the world. That's why I always say, or not, I don't know if I have a saying for it, but I always try to communicate in my videos, like a happy donut is better than a sad salad. The last thing with my blood chemistry teacher, who showed those studies, but also talked about at the end, he goes, it's not about chasing purpose. It's not about trying to, and he pulled up studies on that too. He's very evidence-based, which is, he is evidence-based, not very evidence-based. He is evidence-based. And so he's always pulling up studies. And so he said that your purpose, he pulled up these studies where people were chasing happiness and chasing things. And what he said is sometimes your purpose, it can be right in front of you. Maybe it's not one that you chose. Maybe it's not something that you like, maybe even, but maybe it's right in front of you and you don't have to chase it. And that's purpose. There's purpose in that, and how purpose changes our cells. And I want to say that to you, that whatever you are going through right now, maybe you're feeling really, really lonely in life, and maybe you're just feeling so stuck and just struggling with whatever it is, community, health, whatever it is, whatever you're going through. Like, I think of myself last year walking through miscarriage, just feeling so just unbelievably brokenhearted, and and maybe I wouldn't choose it, and maybe I didn't like it, but I am so thankful. I am so thankful for the purpose in that. And I'm so excited to now that I am a nutritional therapy practitioner, but even more than that, to be able to come on here and have you feel less alone. And if I don't come here and I don't show up and do this, and it was hard for me for a while, even recently, just because I feel like it's easy to, you know, like I mentioned in a video, it's easy to hide behind nutrition or whatever, not hide behind it, but when there's nothing happy to talk about, sometimes I feel like I only want to talk about things that are happy. But now I'm like, I'm so thankful that we get to go through the hard things in life together, because you're not alone, and there is purpose in your life. And if you're looking for it and you're trying to find it, maybe you don't have to look for it anymore. Maybe it really is right in front of you, and maybe you wouldn't choose it, and maybe you don't necessarily love it, maybe you don't like it, but when you embrace it, I really believe there is a richness to be gained in life. And it reminds me of this psalm where the psalmist writes that I can't remember the exact psalm, but basically that your place of weeping, the valley of Baca, the valley of weeping, will actually be a place of refreshment. And so I think about that when it comes to my life, and I look back on this last year, this place of weeping has actually become a place of refreshment. And so it has refreshed me to be able to share my story and to be able to talk about things like something as silly as minerals, but something as serious as minerals, and something as fun as that, and something as maybe superficial. Maybe it actually isn't superficial after all, because maybe that is what we're here to do, is to help each other, maybe in the smallest ways, but maybe the smallest ways are the biggest ways and the deepest ways. So okay, let's go have our coffee and go drop off Grace's soup. She's gonna be so ready for it, and I'm taking photos of my little baby niece. She's so cute. We're gonna take some newborn pictures today, so let's go.
Never keep your eyes off of them, you know? Bad boy.
Looks amazing, honey. Good job. Wow. Good job, babe.